What's going on, y'all? You're watching Ziggy Brothers Production. My name's John, and today I have a World of Tanks replay for you featuring myself and my brother Jarrett. We're playing on Sacred Valley, and it's a standard battle. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a heartbreak. This had both myself and Jarrett depressed at the end of it. This was a hard-fought battle. We did everything we could, and at the end of it, it just wasn't enough. And there's a lot of battles like that. Any World of Tanker can tell you that World of Tanker, is that a term? Okay. Any tanker in World of Tanks can tell you that they've had battles where they've gotten X amount of kills, X amount of damage, they've done a metric butt ton of damage, and they just were not able to win. And that's kind of what this replay is. Jarrett and I are platooned up in two Churchill 7s, and I love the Churchill 7, and Jarrett is slowly becoming accustomed to the way of the Churchill 7 himself. Jarrett prefers very fast mobile tanks, and I kind of like a diverse group, and while the Churchill 7 lacks speed and mobility, it makes up for it in armor and firepower. Unfortunately, some people lack in other departments, like this T-34, who I have no idea why he was even doing that. He was purposely blocking me. He drove in front of me and just turned right and blocked me. So I had to pause my slow tank that already takes eons to get to the front line in order to let him eventually pass and continue on. And he's not done because he goes on to bully around a little Hetzer, and Jarrett has to step in and break that up. So you can see him there, he's tailing behind the Hetzer. But enough with him. What about with this replay? Well, Churchill 7. It lacks mobility. The firepower is adequate. It's got a fast rate of fire. It's decently accurate with decent penetration. And that's kind of the Churchill's strong suit. The Churchill 1, the Churchill 7, and the Black Prince, while they don't have guns that will one-shot kill you, and there's the T-34, of course, just pushing the Hetzer along, so Jarrett has to break that up. While the Churchill 7 won't kill you in one or two shots, if you sit there and shoot round after round into the front of one of these things, a Churchill 7 or a Churchill 1 or Black Prince will sit there and put round after round into you. It has the rate of fire to do that, and that's what makes British heavy tanks so dangerous. They have the armor to sit there and take the hits, and they have the gun to keep up with your impressive rate of fire and deal the damage right back at you. I mean, look at that. I can reload in about 4 seconds, and that's just with a medium caliber tank gun rammer mounted on it and just a 100% trained crew. I don't believe I have improved events on my Churchill 7. I don't think I do. But yeah, 4-second reload on a heavy tank and the armor to boot, and get a load of this T-34 to the left of the enemy team. He comes down. Even though he's stock, he bounces around into the side armor because the Churchill 7 just has so much track and spaced armor that even if a tank gets on your side, if they're tier 5 or lower, they may not pin because they just don't have the penetration to deal with the amount of armor on a Churchill 7. And that makes this tank superb when it is top tier, as we are. Jarrett and I are the top tanks on our team, followed closely behind by the T-34-88 and some other various tanks. As you can see, this match is not going our way. We're losing 3-5 right now, and I haven't been able to do any damage. I'm firing on the move on this Matilda. I'm trying to stop and take aim, but I don't need to be doing that. I just need to keep pushing forward and keep advancing. Finally deal my first shot of damage. I've only got 8 assisted damage and 1 critical hit with it. And Jarrett is lagging behind because he sat there trying to hit the Matilda as well behind that wrecked cover he was using. So Jarrett now has to stop and decide, does he push forward or go back to defend base against the tank destroyer? Well, a medium tank pops up, so Jarrett has to deal with him, thus postponing him to coming to my aid because, as you're about to find out, I run into quite the hornet's nest of enemy tanks. Turns out, they don't like getting their base captured. There's a Panzer IV-D, a Jackson, a Type T-34, a TOG 2. They just come by the dozens. And I'm sitting here, running out of friends quickly. I only have one other heavy tank backing me up. There's a VK-3601H to my front, so I angle the armor and prepare for the onslaught and hail of shells to come in, and that is one thing I am very fortunate that Churchill 7 has an abundance of, is armor. I'm able to keep the armor angled, I'm able to keep the gun singing, and I'm able to wither away these enemy tanks. The Type T-34 was the only one with either the balls or the brains to charge me, and he's dealt with swiftly, but if they had all just charged me, this would have ended very fast because I just couldn't have kept up with them. Instead, like this M4 Sherman, they just sit there trading shots with me with angled armor, excuse me, and I'm able to just kill them one by one. I'm up to 2 kills now, and more's to follow because this poor VK cannot reverse fast enough to get out of my line of sight, and he backs up into building after building, thus slowing him down and thus getting him killed in the end. The M4 Sherman, while he does have a derp gun, hasn't been able to hit me because of all the cover in the way, which has absorbed all of his high explosive shells. He finally does poke out and manage to hit me with a high explosive shell, but it does minimal damage to me, so, I mean, it's the front of a Churchill. Jared is slowly lagging up behind me. At this point, I'm on 4 kills, and I put a good little hit in this Electo, and he thinks, right, screw that. Half my health gone in a single shot. Tog 2 is firing at me, but he doesn't quite have any line of sight. We're still losing 10-12. There's 5 tanks versus 3 of us. It's not looking good. And so, I prioritize the Tog, I roll around, try to spot him, there he is, I stop, and a bloody Hellcat knocks my motor out. Great, so I don't use a repair kit, I kill the Tog. I have no idea what the Electo thought he was going to accomplish ramming me, but Jarrett finishes him off. I'm on 5 kills, there's a Panzer IV-D, another medium tank, and that pesky Hellcat who just can't keep me alone. I'm on 20 health now, I just burnt the repair kit getting my motor fixed, and I'm deathly afraid that Hellcat will kill me, so I quickly angle the armor. He blows my track off again. Jarrett is still at good health, so Jarrett's able to keep putting shot after shot in the Panzer IV-D, who managed to just back up around a little hump in the ground and is able to hide his tank. He's on a smidge of health. So I keep the building between me and the Hellcat. I reverse the tank while keeping the frontal armor pointed at him, and there's the other medium tank, a Panzer T-25. I put 1 shell into him. I have to keep the armor angled against 3 tanks. I bounce a shot, and I'm gonna get the finishing kill on him. Gotta keep the armor pointed to the Panzer IV-D and the Hellcat. Those 2 could easily kill me, and I have no idea if the Hellcat has the 90mm or the 76mm. I'm betting it's the 90mm with the amount of damage he's done in a single shot. But then again, the rate of fire has been coming in okay, so he may be using the 76mm. Keeping the armor angled, I charge the Panzer IV-D while Jarrett peels off left to go deal with the Panzer T-25, who's went left. I use the wreck of the VK-3601H to offer cover from the Hellcat, and I try to deal with the Panzer IV-D. I'm keeping the gun aimed at him. Jarrett finds the Panzer T-25, and he's going to start engaging. This is heating up. At this moment, I was sweating bullets. There's 2 of us. I'm on 5 kills. We could easily win this for our team because Jarrett's at good health. While I may not be at good health, I'm at least in solid enough cover the Hellcat can't hit me. So I'm keeping the wreck between me, keeping the armor angled, and just praying Jarrett can quickly finish off the Panzer T-25, which he does. Now notice how the Panzer IV-D was running. I'm no longer spotted, the Hellcat doesn't have the range to see me. He's somewhere up on the ridgeline about J5, so I advance up, I'm on 5 kills, Jarrett's on 3 kills. That's 8 kills each. Where do you think the Panzer IV-D was running? My bet is the base. And that's what I'm telling Jarrett at this point. I said, look, he's got to be running for the base. He's on a smidge of health. He thinks he can outrun the Churchills. He's got a Hellcat covering him. Perhaps he's heading to base to try to cap. And with how slow we are, I have to go to base now. Because if I wait any longer, I'll never make it back. So I'm trucking as fast as this little tank will go to go back to base and try to catch him. Jarrett says, okay, I'll start capping just in case you're wrong, and he's actually just ran away so that we can flush the Hellcat out. As I'm coming around, I break down the wall, and yeah, I'm spotted, and the Hellcat finishes me off. No problem. Exposing the big fat side armor of the Churchill to a Hellcat is gonna get you killed. So Jarrett now realizes the Hellcat has vision on me, he could have vision on Jarrett, so he's using all the buildings and available cover so he can stay hidden. He's not doing a very good job running over all the walls and buildings, but hey, at least he's got some solid cover between him and the Hellcat. He's on 65% health. Now, with that kind of health, the Panzer IV-D can't hurt him, and there's the Panzer IV-D. How many people thought the Panzer IV-D was going to go cap? Because I certainly did, and that got me killed. But instead, he ran underneath the bridge and came around to defend the base. Jarrett, while turning to try to kill the Panzer IV-D, takes a hit from the from the Churchill, from the Hellcat. So he angles the armor, realizes where the shells are coming from, keeps the armor angled, but he's really worried about the Panzer IV-D. I'm trying to watch the Panzer IV-D for him and make sure that he doesn't put a shell in his backside. Jarrett fires at the Hellcat, keeps moving forward, takes a hit at the gun. He keeps going. Panzer IV-D is getting ready to fire. Jarrett panics, turns the turret, shell misses. He's getting shot at from two different angles, so he uses the ridgeline as cover, hoping the Hellcat can't hit him, but obviously the Hellcat can, so he's just keeping the armor angled. Thinks, right, I've had enough of this pesky Panzer IV. He turns the gun, fires a warning shot, or is what he calls a warning shot when he misses, takes aim, and just starts blowing away the building. So this Panzer IV-D has nowhere to hide, and I'm guessing at this point the Hellcat didn't have a shot, because he's obviously relocating and has stopped shooting. And now he starts shooting again. With 200-something damage in that shot, we now know the Hellcat is using the 90mm gun. That's the good news. We now know what gun he's using. Bad news is that's cost Jarrett so much health, he is a one-shot kill for the Hellcat. And he is in a cap circle with a Hellcat coming down on him. Hellcats are very sneaky, so Jarrett's trying to maneuver to get in behind the Tog so that he can only limit it down to one way that Hellcat can go. He's turning the turret to look, disaster strikes, the Hellcat's on full health, he turns the turret, but it's not enough. Alas, poor Churchill, we knew thee well. Well, I made 56,404 silver, and I dealt 2,287 damage, and having blocked a whopping 3,460, I earned the high caliber and destroyed 5 tanks. But, alas, Jarrett just couldn't pull it off, because as we see, Jarrett was only able to do, just shy of 1,300 damage, and he got himself 4 kills. 9 kills between the two of us, and it still wasn't enough. But congratulations to Mr. Canada A37 and his Hellcat, because he did do over 2,500 damage and got himself 4 kills, and secured the victory for his team, so well played to you, Mr. Canada. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. Hopefully my voice comes back, because I'm slowly losing it, and I'll catch you guys next time.